fact, we see enlargement is a very hot topic right now, with countries like Montenegro and Albania next in the line to join the bloc. Ukraine has made the topic a very geopolitical issue right now. And in the past few weeks, EU countries have advanced a series of proposals to reform the accession process. A key proposal is to strengthen safeguards to avoid that new members breach democratic standards and the rule of law, which is basically a lesson EU capitals say they have learned from Viktor Orban's Hungary. We have also seen proposals from France and Germany about a potential gradual integration of EU countries to show early benefits before you fully join the bloc. And finally, we have heard from the Germans about this idea of associated membership for Ukraine, which would introduce security guarantees before Ukraine fully joins the bloc.
So that's what the member states think. What about the Commission? How are they trying to weigh in now?
Indeed, the Commission has sort of lost the initiative, and now they're trying to regain it before EU leaders discuss this very sensitive topic at the European Council in October. Plans are currently being discussed at the highest political level, and we are going to see them probably before the October summit. So since last year, the Commission is due to present the pre-enlargement policy reviews, which is basically a blueprint for how the EU members would work with 30-plus member states. So this is a very sensitive conversation to have, since it would redistribute money and power within the bloc. And it's probably too early to have this conversation, especially with the French presidential election coming up next year. So instead, the Commission is likely to focus on democratic safeguards to avoid that the burden falls all on Montenegro.
Well, Montenegro, of course, they aspire to be the next country to join as early as next year. What does this all mean for them?
Well, it basically means that they risk to become the testing ground for these new rules, and that is precisely what the Commission wants to avoid, since it would mean punishing your best-in-class student. So safeguards, in fact, already exist in the accession process. Croatia, when it joined in 2013, faced post-accession monitoring for breaches of the judiciary and the rule of law, but there are countries that want to go much further, proposing swift sanctions for breaches of democratic standards, including the suspension of EU funding and even voting rights. These proposals are, however, very controversial because they touch a core EU principle, which is the equality of member states. So this discussion is still in the early stages, but it will shape not only the next wave of enlargement, but also how the EU will look like in the future.